Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is Life Well Spent. My name is Kelly, and on this channel I document my financial journey. I do a number of different videos dealing with like my real numbers, my budget, my transactions for the week, or my expenses for the week. That's what this video is. It is my week 2 of January transaction video. Okay, so we're just talking about the stuff that's highlighted here because of the way I decided to do my transactions. They're kind of all over the place. It's in one big table now, which is kind of how I did it last year, but I changed some things, I think probably midway through the year, and then it just sort of became a little bit, it's a lot of like scrolling back and forth basically. So because this is one big table, what I'll do is hide all of these rows when it comes to February and then put February's info in. But the things that stay consistent, like I'm always paying a mortgage payment, I'm always getting a paycheck, that sort of thing, I decided to kind of keep all together. That way I can just copy and paste them and then, take out the dates, take out the amounts so that they're, more accurately reflecting and all of that rather than having to like continue to redo it. So that then makes this kind of situation. I put the pay at the top of the thing. So on the 10th, I got paid. My paycheck was $1,823.29. That's a little different from last year because I decided this year, and I'll get into it in one of my upcoming videos about my plan for my spending this year. I decided to contribute $100 per paycheck towards my 403B. So it's going to mean a little bit less in take home, although it's not going to be the full 200 because taxes work out a little bit differently. And because basically I'm taking away some taxable income, so I'll get some of that back in taxes not paid. So yeah, if you watch my January budget video, I kind of explained that a little bit and said I don't really know what it's actually going to look like, but I just went like, I know for sure it's $200, so I'll just take 200 off and then we'll adjust from there. So anyway, that's my pay. That's where we're at. I also paid my Comcast bill. Now, I typically pay this on the first when I pay everything else. However, I knew that they were making a change in the amount they do every year. Like every year it goes up like $1 or $2 or $3 or $5 or whatever. So this year it was $3. So now it's going to be $61. Because I knew that that was going to happen, I wanted to wait until I got the bill so I knew exactly how much it was going to be. Because basically, I would have paid my $58, had that paid out, and then got the bill and been like, oh crap, I still owe some money. So I just decided to wait on that. And it also helped me. I did not pay that with my Chase Sapphire. Hang on a second. I paid that with my Chase United. I did get a Chase United card to get another 60,000 Chase points. So in waiting, I thought, you know what? Like I'm going to wait a little bit longer because I probably got the bill maybe like the 8th of the month. And I thought, I'm going to wait until I get my credit card in hand and I'm going to pay that. It's not a ton of money. I don't spend a lot of money. So for me to get to $3,000, I essentially buy what I buy for myself. And then I buy things for my mother that she would be buying so that we can get to that spending amount. Like the other day, our Joann's fabric is going out of business. And we went to see like if there was anything that was, good, well priced that like we could use. And my mom was able to find some things. So I was like, oh, let me buy that. So yeah, she probably got like $500 worth of like fabric and material for $100. So it was pretty good deal for her. Pretty good day. We're going to get shoes tomorrow and I will be buying them. And we are going a place where I can't pay with a credit card, unfortunately. Well, I think you can now, but I think there's a fee and I don't really want to pay a fee just to be able to get like points. I probably would if it was like really close and I was desperate, but yeah, we'll see. I think I'll get there. The reason I kind of pulled the trigger on the card itself is that I have to go to a conference within the next 90 days. And I knew that like I'd be paying for the hotel room, but getting reimbursed by work. So, and the same for my meals. So I was like, I think I'll do it because that'll get me like ever so much closer without me actually having to like find ways to spend money. I also really think I'm going to have to replace my refrigerator. I'm trying to kind of limp it along, but I just think it's time and I think I'm going to have to. So who knows? I may get another card when it comes time to replace the fridge because the fridge is going to get me probably halfway there just by virtue of buying a fridge. Okay, so on the 14th, I got my dividends from my high yield savings and my checking account, which the checking is not a lot. It's 30 cents, but truly, I don't keep a lot of money in my checking account. You know this if you've been here before. I start every month with a month's worth of salary. Like that's my zero, and the rest goes into a high yield savings account. So, really at any point, there's probably anywhere from like 1,500 to $4,500. Just depends on like if I get paid at the very beginning of the month, then yeah, I'm gonna have close to 6,000 in there. But the bills will also start coming out and start chipping away at that. So yeah, it's kind of hovers around there. So not really the end of the world. $20 went into my Christmas markets. My mom and I are taking a trip to go see some of the European Christmas markets next year. We're not really sure yet which ones, but that is our plan. And I'm putting $20 a week aside for just spending money while I'm there. So yeah, those go. The next one's going to go in. It goes in every Sunday. So let me see. Okay. Also on the 8th, oh, that's funny that didn't highlight. I'm not sure what that's about. I went to Elk Mountain to ski, and if you you know what, I think Beth said that's it. I actually went skiing on a free ski day. So that is not the cost of my lift ticket, although that's probably about close to what a lift ticket would be. I had a problem with my ski pants, and I still to this day don't even know how it happened. Because I have been in similar situations and I have not had this problem. Now my ski pants I honestly thought they were only a few years old, but I found a lift ticket on the pants from like 2016, so they are older than I thought they were. But anyway, I was on a lift and like my legs were freezing underneath, like my butt and my hamstrings, and I was like, "Oh my god." I was like, "Man, I must be sitting on like ice or something that like is kind of seeping through and like making me feel super cold." And it was a very cold day, but I was like, "This is like feels like too much cold." And then so we skied down, got back on, and once again I was like, "Holy crap, this is cold. Why do I feel so cold?" And skied back down. Now that time my friend needed to go to the bathroom, so we got our skis off, went inside. And while I was inside, I kind of felt like I was like, I still feel, sometimes like when things are really cold, they can also kind of feel wet, but they're not wet, they're just cold. And so I was like, I kind of like feel like that. Like, what's going on? And I like felt the back of my pants and I was like, yeah, like it feels like it's a little damp. So I was like, yeah, I probably sat in snow because they were blowing snow. It was snowing, like it happens. And then I was like, but my legs, like I was like, the outside of my pants don't feel as cold as the inside of my pants feel to my legs. And so I reached in my snow pants and realized that my base layer was soaking wet, as though I like peed myself or something. And I was like, what is happening? So truthfully, like had it been warmer out, I probably would have just risked it. And I would have, because I'd probably like, well, I'll go out and ski for an hour, come in and like warm up, dry off, whatever. But I mean, it was like single digits. So I was like, I feel like that's just asking for frostbite. So I bought two things. I bought a new pair of base layers, which I actually really love. Like I've worn them outside even because they're a different type of base layer. And I've worn them like to go walking outside. I've worn them to do like yoga in. And I think they would actually be really great to cross country ski in. So I was pretty happy with the purchase and I got them at half price. And I bought these things called Tri Cheeks. And it's a thing like you kind of Velcro it around you and it connects to your waist and your thighs. And it's like a neoprene sort of thing that basically when you sit, if there's wetness anywhere, the neoprene repels the wetness and it doesn't like soak up into your clothes. Because I mean, I thought even if I get a new dry base layer, the second I go out there again, I'm going to get wet again. So I needed to do the dry cheeks as well. So yeah, that was an expense I wasn't really planning for, but I had money in my clothing fund. So the money I just put in the clothing fund, but that's a whole nother story. Trying to rebuild that one. I think it was down to like $7 or something. So, okay. Okay. This Fire and Barbecue is, I can't remember the full name of the restaurant. So when on our way back, my friend drives a Tesla and she needed to charge it. And she was like, it'll take like 20 minutes to a half an hour. She's like, I can do the supercharge in 20 minutes or I can do like the slow charge. And she was like, that'll take like 40 minutes. I forget exactly what she said. So we ended up like where the charging station was, there was a bunch of restaurants. And so we went to dinner and I bought her dinner because she actually is the one who got me the free ski ticket, the free lift pass. I was like, you're doing the driving, like you're paying to charge the car, like, all of this stuff. So I was like, let me just get dinner. Which truthfully, I wasn't really planning on stopping for dinner. I thought we would just go home. I didn't realize that like it was going to take that long and it just made more sense. And like, it was better to do it this way because it would have been way too late to eat by the time we got home. So whatever, not worried about it. And then I had a meeting the next day on the 9th that I went to, and we were not provided lunch at that meeting. Some we are. This one we weren't. And so I just went to a place to get lunch. Let me see. Then I did a whole bunch of transfers. Yay. So I put $126 in my medical fund. Now, some of that was a reimbursement that I got from my dental insurance. So basically, my dental insurance company isn't accepted by just about any dentist around here. So what we basically have to do is we're out of network. We go to the dentist and we pay up front and they reimburse whatever amount they'll reimburse. It's never the full amount. Isn't that great? So I'm always paying out of pocket for dental. That said, I'm annoyed about it, but I keep track of all of that stuff. And when it comes time, when I'm 65, I'll be taking that money out of my HSA and reimbursing myself for it now, or reimbursing myself for the payments now later, because you can do that with an HSA. So it is a nuisance, but at the end of the world, I was like, honestly, that just makes life a little bit easier for me when I'm 65 and I can afford it now. And I might feel differently if it's more than just like a cleaning and x-rays, but that's where I'm at. So health and fitness, I moved $490 or $430.93 into my health and fitness account. I made a new sinking fund this year because I would like to start utilizing a personal trainer. I don't know what I want that to look like yet, but I wanted to kind of put some money in. I thought, honestly, I would be paying out of pocket right from the start. And I'm not super thrilled about the meetings that I've had so far with the trainer through the Y. And so that was kind of initially like a line item expense for me. And then I was going to kind of put maybe like $100 a month so that like the next time it came time to like pony up, the money would be there. But I thought, well, I was expecting to already have paid this out. I'll just move it into the account, the sinking fund, and then go from there. So car repair, $4.89. Really, I was just topping that off to $1,000. Garden, $80.79. These are all really random numbers, and I'll explain in a second. Clothing, $75.89. Gift, $100, travel, $50, and then $6.27 into my medical fund and $70.12 into my giving fund. So basically what happened, I put the amounts that I was originally planning on putting in, what I had budgeted for. And for some of the things, some of them are kind of random because, like the clothing fund might have had, something and 11 cents. And so I just put the 89 in so I could have like kind of an even number, because at this point, like, unless I'm going to buy something, it's going to be like $50 a month. And so this way, like I could just kind of keep racking up that way and just kind of keep even numbers. So that's what some of that ended up being. Um, the car repair was definitely a topping off. Um, the rest, I think I'm just still adding to at this point. Although the giving one might have been that 12 cents might have been enough to like top it off at the level I want and make it an even number. And then I kind of started, like, I put more in my medical fund because I realized that I was really, really close to having like $25,000 in my high yield savings account, which is, a combination of my sinking funds and my emergency fund. And so I was like, I'm just going to put a little more in there because I want to hit the $25,000 threshold because I do weird things like that. And I have since paid out money from it, so it's not 25,000 anymore, but for like 3 days it was. So, yeah, that's why I did that. I know. Very silly of me. Very, very silly of me. I don't even know why these guys didn't get highlighted, but all right. I decided so I did have to do two things. One, I had to pay my dues for my Nittany Lion Club, and that's due in January. I put $17 aside every month for that. Although this year, if you watch my sinking funds video, you'll see I decided to combine the giving and the NLC fund, because realistically, if I keep $1,000 in there, and realistically, if I spent all thousand in December, it is not the end of the world for me to shell out $200 come January. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep it all in one. Like it's just one fewer sinking fund to keep track of because I had a couple other ones that I wanted to add, like my health and fitness one. I have a new car sinking fund now. So I was like, I can combine those. Let's just do that. So, but I paid it out in January anyway. So that's out. That's gone now. Then I spent $60 and I bought a membership to WVIA. This is the tier that gets me this is how my friend was able to get free lift tickets. She and her husband are like members at a certain tier that gets them two passes. And then he apparently never wants to go. I don't know. So I realized that with this $60 donation to WVIA, which is like PBS and stuff like that, that I would kind of get access to more things and I would get this lift ticket, which that's less than a lift ticket. So I was like, it's going to pay for itself. So there's that. Travel on the 14th, I put $56.70 into my travel fund, which I essentially decided that was basically the dividends that I got from my high yield savings account. The 30 cents from the checking, I just leave in there. It's 30 cents. I will transfer it at the end of the month somewhere anyway if I'm over my zero. So not really worried about it until then. The 5670 automatically goes into like my core savings account. So I just need to allocate where I want that to go. And I decided it was going to go into the travel fund. I should probably put it into the new car fund, but it's going into the travel fund for now. Let me see. Yep. And then I spent $100, I transferred $100 to a different savings account. So I have an ultimate opportunity savings account with Alliant Credit Union. And I have a withdrawal set to go like on the first of the month. And lately it's made it there on like the first of the month. But because the holiday on the first of the month, it dropped a little bit early in December. And in order to get, so the way the ultimate opportunity savings account works is if you put $100 in every month, after 12 months, like, so you're getting like a 3.5 or, well, who knows what it was when I signed, who knows what it is now. But it was like 3.84 or something when I signed up. But interest rates obviously change and fluctuate. So like it's still a high yield savings account. But anyway, at the end of the 12 months, the Alliant Credit Union will put $100 in the account for you. So that's a heck of a return. And I was like, well, I could do that. Like, I'm just going to I'll do that. So because the money technically dropped in December, I was really worried that they would consider me not to have made a January contribution. So I just did another transfer so that there is a January contribution listed on there. Otherwise, I honestly really wouldn't have bothered. But just wanted to be sure. And I mean, worst case scenario, there's an extra $100 that I don't need, I mean, it's technically part of my emergency fund. Um, so I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. I think this year, the money that I put in there, and did I indicate that down here or not? Yeah. The money that I put in there for this calendar year is going to be considered my new car fund. So like the stuff from last year was part of my emergency fund. This will be part of my new car fund. So we will go from there. The other reason I wanted to keep it open is because they have some really good rates on CDs and stuff. So I wanted to be able to kind of have that as an option for me as well. So that's the transactions for the week. It's a lot of saving, not a ton of spending. Like I'm really trying to kind of rein in my spending a bit. I actually did not even go grocery shopping. Like normally there is like a trip to Sam's Club or a trip to the grocery store, but I was kind of taking a look around what I had and I thought, I think I have enough to get me through the week because last week I had fewer. I bought like salad. There was a lot of different things that I bought and I ended up like someone decided to make soup in my work group. So I was like, well, there's one day I don't have to bring lunch. And then I wasn't there because I was skiing, which when I bought the groceries, the ski trip hadn't been finalized. So I was like, well, I better just get something. And I thought worst case scenario, I would just eat it when I got home for dinner. And then we ended up going out to eat. So this week I had like a couple of salads that hadn't gotten eaten the week before. And I was kind of looking around and I was like, I think I have enough stuff here to like actually make it through the week without going to the grocery store and still have produce. Usually I've got tons of stuff in my freezer and in my pantry. So typically I'm going for like produce unless I'm deciding I want to make something specific or whatever. But I'm really going to try to eat through my stock of food so that, I can get through it all. And yeah, so that's the plan there. But it does mean like I don't have a lot of produce. So that's really mostly what I'm going to end up going to the store and buying. And I still had plenty left over and it was all still in really good shape. So I was like, I guess I'm not going to the grocery store. I do have to go to the grocery store today, actually, at some point because I need to make a cheesecake for Monday. So, and I don't have anything for that. So that'll be a trip. Just probably down to the local shop. Who knows? All right. Well, that's it for this video. There's my transactions for the week. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, guys. How do you keep track of your transactions? Are you paper pencil? Do you just not even bother to look? How do you do it? I have to do this weekly. I think I've talked about this before. I know I've talked about this before. I have to do this to kind of keep myself on track because I will forget after like a week or two what I've already spent. And in my mind, I'll be like, no, I haven't spent anything. And I'll find out at the end of the month that like, oh yeah, I spent a lot of money on stupid things. Forgot about that. Oh, I wish I'd remembered that I had done that because then I wouldn't have done this other thing. So yeah. Anyway, it's my system. Works for me so far. If you are still watching, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.